The air in the stadium crackles, not with the usual cheers of the crowd, but with a terrifying, otherworldly energy. This is it, the grand finals. But something is horribly wrong. Kyo Kusanagi stands in the center of the arena, his body contorted, his head thrown back in a silent scream. His familiar orange flames, the symbol of the Kusanagi clan's power to cleanse evil, flicker and die. In their place, a terrifying new power erupts from his outstretched hands. Streams of brilliant, cosmic energy, a haunting mix of deep blue and crimson, spiral into the sky. This isn't Kyo's fire. This is something ancient, something alien. This is the power of Otome equals Raga. The very fabric of reality begins to tear. The cheering crowd, the steel beams of the stadium, the city skyline outside, it all dissolves into a vortex of swirling colors and distorted shapes. We're no longer in Tokyo. We've been dragged into a different dimension. The ground beneath our feet transforms into a crystalline floor, reflecting a star-strewn nebula where a ceiling should be. And in the center of this cosmic cathedral, Kyo's body begins to change. He floats upwards, his arms outstretched as if crucified. The blue and crimson energy cocoons him, pulsating like a monstrous heart. The Kusanagi crest on his jacket glows with an unholy light before shattering into dust. This isn't just a possession anymore. It's a complete transformation. He is no longer Kyo Kusanagi. He is a vessel, a gateway, a voice, ancient and impossibly vast, echoes through the void, speaking not through sound, but directly into our minds. It is a voice of judgment, cold and absolute. Otome equals Raga, the goddess of destruction, has fully awakened. Through Kyo, she now looks upon our world, her gaze weighing the sins of humanity. Her first words reverberate through the dimension she has created. You have been found wanting. The judgment has begun. Giant ethereal constructs, looking like celestial arbiters, materialize from the nebula. They turn their faceless heads towards the champions who fought so valiantly just moments ago. Your Yagami, Terry Bogard, my Shiranui, they all stand frozen, not by fear, but by the sheer pressure of this divine presence. Their own powers feel like a flickering candle. In a hurricane against this cosmic force, the goddess, speaking through Kyo's form, raises a hand. The crimson energy coalesces, forming a spear of light aimed directly at the heart of our world. She sees humanity as a plague, a failed experiment that has scarred the planet. Her solution is simple: total annihilation, a reset. The fighters who have gathered here from all corners of the globe now face a choice. They didn't come here to fight a god, but the fate of the world now rests on their shoulders. How can they fight a being of this magnitude? How can they save Kyo, who is trapped within this divine monster? The hope of humanity lies in the hands of these warriors, now standing on the brink of apocalypse. This tournament was never about finding the strongest fighter. It was a ritual, a sacrifice. And Kyo Kusanagi was the offering. The goddess has awakened, and her judgment will be absolute. Can anyone stop her? The final battle for the soul of the earth is about to begin. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next chapter. The air crackled with a power not seen in centuries. Kyo Kusanagi, the flame-wielding hero, was no longer himself. His body, a vessel for an ancient, world-devouring entity, stood as a monument to their failure. The Kusanagi fire, once a symbol of justice, now burned with a terrifying, malevolent purple hue, threatening to consume everything. We were watching a legend become a nightmare. Your Yagami, his eternal rival, clenched his fists, his own violet flames flickering with desperation. Standing beside him, Chizuru Kagura, the guardian of the seal, held the Yada mirror, its surface clouded with the ominous energy radiating from Kyo. This wasn't just another Orochi threat. This was something far older, far more sinister. They had tried everything, every attack, every seal, but the entity's grip on Kyo was absolute. Each attempt to expel it only tightened its hold, pushing Kyo closer to the brink of oblivion. Suddenly, two new figures burst onto the scene. Shanae, his phantom hands crackling with red and blue energy, and Ila, her spray cans hissing as spectral limbs materialized around her. They were the new generation, powerful in their own right. but even they were staggered by the sheer force emanating from Kyo. "We can't just keep attacking him," Shun'ei yelled over the roaring energy. "We'll destroy him along with whatever's inside." Chizuru's expression hardened with resolve. She looked from Kyo to Iori, then to the newcomers. An idea, desperate and dangerous, began to form. The sacred treasures were meant to seal Orochi, she began, her voice steady despite the chaos. But their power is rooted in balance. The Kusanagi sword, the Yasakani Magatama, and the Yata mirror. They represent the Trinity. We've been trying to sever a connection, but what if we need to reinforce one instead? Iori scoffed. Reinforce? He's a walking apocalypse. What are you suggesting, Kagura? Chizuru turned to him, her gaze unwavering. Not just us, all of us, your Magatama, my mirror, and his sword. Their bond is what defines them, perhaps only by reaffirming that bond, by pouring our own essence into the connection. Can we stabilize the vessel without destroying the host? It was a gamble of epic proportions. To save Kyo, they had to link their powers directly to the entity controlling him, risking their own souls in the process. Shun'ei and Ila exchanged a look. They had faced verse, they had confronted their own inner demons, but this was different. This was about saving a hero by embracing the very thing that was destroying him. It's a long shot, Shun'ei admitted, his phantom fist solidifying. But it's the only one we've got, Ila nodded, her eyes fixed on Kyo's tormented form. Let's do it. Let's show this ancient freak what real power looks like. With their decision made, the four warriors formed a circle around the possessed Kyo. Chizuru raised the Yata mirror, its polished surface beginning to shine with a pure, white light. Iori ignited his hand, the Yasakani flames burning with renewed purpose. Shun'ei and Ila unleashed their own unique energies, a swirling vortex of red, blue, and phantom power. They were no longer just for individual fighters. They were a conduit, a new kind of trinity, preparing to rewrite the legend of the three sacred treasures. The final battle for Kyo Kusanagi's soul had begun. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to follow for the next chapter of this saga. Kyo Kusanagi, a name whispered in hushed tones, synonymous with flame and fury. For weeks, we've journeyed alongside him, watching as the legendary hero became an unwitting pawn in a cosmic chess game. The year is 2026, and the world teeters on the brink, not from mortal wars, but from a threat that slumbers within Kyo himself. Episode 10, the season finale, The Godslayer's Burden. The stage is set for a confrontation that will either save humanity or shatter existence. Last time we saw him, Kyo was lost, a prisoner in his own body. The goddess of truth, Otome equals Raga, had twisted his very essence, turning the protector into a harbinger of doom. Her crystalline magic, beautiful yet terrifying, was reshaping the world into her own sterile image. Chizuru Kagura fought valiantly, her sacred mirror a beacon of hope against the encroaching darkness. Iori Yagami, Kyo's eternal rival, stood by his side, his violet flames a desperate, defiant roar against an entity far beyond their comprehension. But it wasn't enough. The goddess was too powerful, her connection to Kyo too deep. The world held its breath as everything we knew began to crystallize into oblivion. Now, we're here. The final battle. Imagine the scene, a sky fractured with crystalline light, the earth groaning under the goddess's power. Otome equals Raga, wearing Kyo's face, unleashes waves of transformative energy. Each blast is a symphony of destruction, turning buildings, trees, and hope itself into shimmering, lifeless crystal. Chizuru and Iori are pushed to their absolute limits, their every attack absorbed and redirected by the goddess's overwhelming might. It seems hopeless. The end is truly nigh, but deep within that possessed form, a fire still burns. Kyo Kusanagi is not gone. Inside the prison of his mind, he fights. He claws his way through layers of divine manipulation, fueled by memories of his friends, his family, his duty. He remembers the weight of the Kusanagi legacy, not as a curse, but as a shield. And in that moment of pure, unyielding will, something shifts. The goddess's control flickers. For a single, breathtaking second, Kyo's own eyes look out from his face. This is his chance. With a guttural scream that tears through the fabric of reality, Kyo begins to fight back from the inside. He doesn't just resist, he learns. He feels the flow of Otoma equals Raga's crystalline magic, understands its structure, its power, its weakness. He sees that her magic, like his flames, is a form of pure energy. And energy can be controlled. It can be redirected. It can be contained. He starts to weave his own will into the goddess's power. A flicker of red flame within the heart of the crystal storm. The climax is an explosion of raw, untamed power. Kyo seizes control. The crystalline tendrils lashing out at his friends suddenly halt, suspended in midair. Otoma equals Raga's serene expression twists into one of shock and disbelief. She, a goddess, is being challenged by a mere mortal from within. Her own vessel. Kyo forces her power to turn back on itself. The very crystals she used to conquer the world now become her cage. He masterfully weaves a prison of her own magic, a complex, shimmering lattice of light and energy. With a final, agonizing roar, Kyo expels the goddess from his body, not by destroying her, but by sealing her. The sky clears, the encroaching crystal recedes, and a deafening silence falls over the battlefield. Kyo collapses, smoke rising from his skin, the sacred treasures clattering to the ground beside him. He's alive. He saved the world. But the victory is bittersweet. He survived. But he is not unscathed. The battle has left an indelible mark. Kyo is now what the ancients would call a marked vessel. He can feel it, a cold, quiet presence deep within his soul. A fragment, a sliver of the goddess of truth, remains dormant inside him. He has sealed her away. But a piece of her is now a piece of him. He is forever burdened with this knowledge, this terrible secret. He is the guardian of his own prison, the jailer of the gods sleeping in his soul. The world is safe, for now. But Kyo Kusanagi's fight is far from over. It has only just begun. Thank you all for watching. Let me know your theories for what's next in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite stories. See you next time.